Immigrants, not all of us, but a lot of us, seem to forget, or maybe they just don't know. But if you have been living in this country long enough, you should know that. The reason why we're here, the reason why we're allowed to be here, is because of the work Black Americans did. Because of the sacrifices they did. Because all the fights they had to fight in order for us, for them, because they didn't do it for us, they did it for themselves, and it's right. But today we are enjoying the fruit of their labor. And we should not forget that. I'm an immigrant. And yes, in my community, or in the immigrant community, and nobody can say otherwise, is a lot of disrespect for African American. It's a lot of it. I have heard it. And I have to admit that when I first came, I was also ignorant of their history. But after being in this country, for the amount of time I have been here, if I act like I don't know that, it means that I'm willingly demeaning them. They are mad. And you know what immigrants should do right now? We should not be arguing with them. We should be quiet and listen. Listen to what they're saying. Listen.
Has become top 3 destinations for Africans.
Thank you for the truth.
Who can afford an education or who can leave the continent and come here for an opportunity. America is top 3.
Hello.
And then we land here, we click black in an application form, black or African American, and guess what? We're all of a sudden in one bucket. So whatever they went through, whatever they paved, the hardships in anything that we're trying to achieve, we're going to have those opportunities and those chances because of them.
He gets it.
When you actually understand that, like that even empowers you more.
Shouts out to this African guy for actually telling the truth, because so many Africans, and people from outside of America in the diaspora come here and they disrespect us, they denigrate us, they undermine us, while literally not even recognizing or giving grace or thanks for the fact that they're able to come here and have the opportunities and the liberties that they do because Black Americans paved the way. And I feel like they know this. Y'all are watching me. You all know this. Yet for some reason, deep down inside, it kills you to admit it. I don't know why. You come here, we embrace you. Well, we used to. I mean, now you all have done so much damage that it's not even the easiest to embrace you the same way that we used to. But we embraced you. We shopped at your businesses. We promoted your brands and your companies. You set up shop in our neighborhoods, and we welcomed you. We supported you. It is also because of us that you were able to be successful in the political world, because we thought that you were one of us. So
easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining, because we were raised through struggle. Like, I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there's some way, our own people will not look down on us.
African immigrants, stay clear, stay off the part of African Americans, because some of you do not understand their history. No matter how we that came from Africa try to understand, we will never understand. So stay off. I'm talking from the point of view that me, after my 2 years of African American history in high school, 3 years to get my law degree, I took African American history, and 2 years in graduate school, I still took African American history, and when I moved to the States, I still took African American history. I still do not understand those people's plight, but I can sympathize from within. But one thing is certain, and 2 things for sure in America. When you come here as a Black person, they will give you the same treatment they give our Black brothers. Support them, but do not come to debunk them.
I would not have kickstarted my career if 6 engineers who went to Purdue didn't decide to form what is now called the National Society of Black Engineers, that gave you, even me as the African student, an opportunity to go to a conference and meet companies and interviews and get an internship. So all of these Africans here, we know we have all these lawyer, doctor, engineers that our parents wanted us to be. And we came here to US to achieve that. But really, you have to understand, if it wasn't for African Americans, what they established, their greatness on their achievements in each of these fields, those opportunities would not be presented to us. So you owe it to them to actually go and learn.
Listen, I've never been more aware of my Blackness until coming to America.
This is what we African Americans try to tell you Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, and African immigrants, that when you come to America, you are now the minority and you live in a highly racialized society. You didn't have to think a lot about being Black in Jamaica because Blackness is the default. Black people are over 90% of Jamaica's population. So therefore, you are the standard. You are just a human being. You don't have to say Black Jamaican history. You just say Jamaican history. You don't have to say, oh, look at that Black woman over there. You say, look at that woman over there. Look at that sister over there. When you have the privilege of living in a context of where you are the majority, where you are surrounded by people that look like you, you are a human being. That is something we as African Americans do not get the privilege of. So therefore, we are highly racialized and we have high racial consciousness. We understand just how deep race plays a factor in American society and around the globe. That's something that a lot of African immigrants and Afro-Caribbeans don't see because they're not living in a context to where they see white people ruling over them or dictating their lives directly every day. Race does not dictate where you live, where you go to school, your educational opportunities, your social networking, wealth, income, perceptions about you. In Black majority countries and societies, racism, white supremacy is more expressed through a neo-colonial, neoliberal, subtle way. So to all you Afro-Caribbeans, African immigrants, Afro-Latinos, or Black people outside of America, don't come to America and say, I know Black, I Dominican. I know Black, I Nigerian. America gonna let you know real quick you Black when you get your Negro wake-up call.
Something is changing, and it goes far beyond racism. More African immigrants are beginning to admit that Black Americans may have understood life in America far better than many outsiders realized.
I be seeing immigrants on this app breaking down in a way I just don't see Black Americans breaking down. And I think it's because they are finally, the veil is being lifted off of the promise of America. And I think that this is very crushing to them. They are grieving hard because they believed a lie that my people just didn't believe. Black Americans are more progressive. We progressed past the American dream lie. We're past that. I mean, we got some people who are stuck in their respectability politics era. But a lot of those people are first generations. They're not even Black Americans. Because I'm telling you right now, Black Americans are past respectability politics. We're past that because we already tried it. It's not that we knew already. We're not so enlightened by the fact that we're Black Americans. We tried everything. And that is the reason why every time an immigrant comes here, we try to let y'all know what the deal is with this country. And that's also why when you come into this country, they warn you about us. You think they warn you about us because we are dangerous and no, they warn you about us because we're going to tell you the truth. You might wake up a little faster if you hang out with Black Americans. That's why they don't want you hanging out with us. They don't want you near the truth tellers, obviously. So I really do feel sorry for the immigrants the veil is being lifted from their eyes and they are crashing out. I be seeing so many videos of immigrants just so upset about the things that are happening in this country and mourning the loss of the American dream in a way that Black people mourn that shit. I think my mom mourned it.
Because after excitement of arriving fades, reality hits. The bills, the job pressure, the isolation, the discrimination, the constant struggle to stay ahead. And now some are realizing Black Americans were not just complaining. They were warning people.
It's different when you get to the States. And when you get to the States, there is a Black American dream, Black immigrant dream that if you could get to the States, you could make it. Because there's this idea that the American dream is there. We haven't gotten the updates yet. The Black Americans on the ground probably have. They know as much that, oh no, that dream that you're talking about, that's literally a figment. But the Black Caribbean person or the Black African will come into that space and be around Black Americans, and they will look at them as though Why haven't you taken advantage of this? And I noticed very early on, especially after Trump took office, is that there's a dread, an existential dread that just creeps after a long time being in that space. And what ends up happening is you get so defeated and you feel so futile in your efforts to do what the Black immigrant might very well think you can do. Mm-hmm. And until I got to like that, I want to say 8-year mark when I was in the States, and a wave of depression washed over me. I think it was a little bit into the Trump presidency, where I just needed to resign from white people in mass. Like I felt a craving, and that's why honestly I came back home. I could not look at white people after Trump, especially in Iowa, after Trump was in office for a little bit, because there was a level of arrogance and a deservedness and an entitlement that I don't know if I could have dealt with for far too long. So I had to get out of there. And then I thought to myself, I said, damn, I got that after 8 years. These niggas been here since they was born. They've been dealing with that shit since they was born. If I could feel that defeated after 8 years of this shit, I can only imagine what my friend from Chicago was feeling, what my friend from Atlanta was feeling. I could only imagine after at a particular point being looked at every time when I walk into a grocery store. So you got a white old lady looking at you like you's a damn monster. Like and even if they look at you fondly, you still being fetishized. Even if they look at you like,
easier for us Africans that were raised in Africa to feel like they're complaining, because we were raised through struggle. Like I barely even have water, and you have water, you're complaining. But then it's not about the basic necessity or about how we are raised. We are raised like, I don't want to say way better. We might not have resources, but there are some way, like our own people will not look down on us or put us behind. So it's in they're nurtured that way. Like they just can't overlook it. And if you sit down and watch everything that the forefathers have been through for you, I changed my mind. No, they need to be angry. However, they should still move forward.
I mean, we have police brutality back home too.
True.
We have, like, if you go to Cameroon and then you see how that police officer treat us, and they're black just like us, you're not even gonna believe it. You know, and in Cameroon we have this. Have you guys heard of the word like tribalism? So
yeah, it happens in Nigeria.
Yeah, so we do get oppressed too. And
I agree.
So when I'm saying like we need to like look past that, I'm not saying forget what happened to you guys or me. At the end of the day, we cannot just sit and just grieve on the past. We have to be able to move on, but not forget. If I could choose a place to live, it would obviously be my country. I love my country, but right now, my country is not the best choice for me. There's a little genocide going on in Cameroon right now. So many innocent lives have been taken. If I was still in my country, the opportunity that I have here, I would not have those opportunities there.
For years, America has been sold as the land of opportunities. Work hard, follow rules, stay focused, and you will succeed. But living here can reveal a different reality. You can work long hours and still struggle with rent. You can earn more money than you ever did back home and still feel financially trapped. You can have a job, a car, an apartment, and still be one emergency away from serious trouble. That is something many people do not fully understand until they experience it. And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. Some African immigrants arrive with negative assumptions. They hear that Black Americans complain too much, that they blame the system. But after years of living in America, some begin facing the same pressures: workplace barriers, housing costs, racial stereotypes, limited time with families, and suddenly the message sounds different. Because when you experience the pressure yourself, you begin to understand why Black Americans have been speaking about these issues for generations. And this is bigger than racism. Healthcare can drain your savings, childcare can consume your income, rent keeps rising, one job may not be enough. People can spend years working non-stop while feeling completely isolated. You can earn more money, you have more expenses, you may have more opportunities, but also feel the pressure. And for some immigrants, the reality is shocking. So this may be why the conversation is changing, because it is easy to judge Black Americans from the outside. It is different when you start experiencing America for yourself. Suddenly, conversations about inequality, generational wealth, discrimination, and economic pressure do not sound like excuses. They sound like experience. And maybe that is the biggest shift happening right now. Not everyone will agree. Not every African immigrant has the same experience. But more people are beginning to understand why Black Americans have been saying America is not always what it looks like from outside. So maybe Black Americans were not being negative. Maybe they understood the reality area because they had lived it longer. And now, after experiencing America firsthand, some African immigrants are finally saying, now we understand. Do you think the realization is changing how African immigrants view Black Americans? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And kindly remember to keep it respectful. If you love breakdowns like these, hit the subscribe button and join our family. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.